Aye, cool. So we're back in as we do it, as we do. So yeah, just to kind of pick up from where we left off, yeah, with regards to the seven energies. Hopefully you can kind of now see potentially where these energies get their names from, because obviously there was a lot of swagger jackery going on back then. A lot of cultures were coming in and out, don't get me wrong, but there seems to be this theme that we couldn't do stuff on our own more time now. Man's had to get aliens in and all that stuff. I ain't got time for that, fam. But more time than it allows credence to be like, well, you know what, humans weren't even all that. Anyway, you get on saying, when you can kind of already see the tradition. You with me? You set it up, shut it down, set it up, shut it down. You get on saying. We're good creators, but I ain't gonna get into that. I ain't gonna get into that. It's not what it's all about, fam. It isn't. It isn't. So anyway, yeah. So the planets and a few lines, yeah, to kind of help you pick up from where I left off, because obviously this is with regards to astrology. So you got the moon, which is also known as the first heaven, yeah. Nurturing, caring, personal need for mothering, emotional consciousness, yeah. So if I was to say to you now, okay, give me one liner for the moon, for the moon, you should have one of those words, yeah. But you can kind of source the juju that comes with it, yeah. Next up now we got Mercury, which is also a part of your brain again, but it's dealing now with communication, the logical mind, the analytical self, yeah. So you got two sides. The best way for me to put it is, imagine if you've got like an idea, yeah. Imagine I says to you now, you know what, I wanna create a computer, yeah, but I'm gonna use sand to do it. I'm gonna be like, what are you on about? Imagine now if I use that sand to make a silicon chip. Yeah, madness, condensed, organized, made logical. It works. Is what I'm coming from. If I was to say to you, yo, I'm gonna go to this to space and build a station in space. Once again, you look at me like, yo, man's is loony, Don't go space, go to the moon with your lunar self. Yeah, you lunatic. But no, mercurial mind, once again, pull it together, structure, everything else, work out how much powers I'm going to need to get off the Earth, thrust, angle, and everything else, yeah? All right, cool. So then we move up to now Venus, yeah? We've already brought down how Venus works, yeah? Obviously, she's anything to do with Taurus, anything to do with Libra, but then there's that other side with regards to you know, the phosphorus, Esphorus, the Lucifer Vulcan side, the Sekhmet, Hathor kind of energy. You with me? It's got to be careful of how much of that type of juju you put out there. Can't remember the soul is better than that. Yeah, soul is better than any material stuff. Like, get it. Don't get me wrong. Get what you're getting, but don't forget you got a soul as well. Yeah, don't forget charity and all of those things. To be fair, that's why I really like Islam. Car on their flag now they've got the moon and Venus. You mean the Venus ain't ahead of the sun. It's back there with the moon to say, yo, we're not on that vibration. We're pulling it back. We're bringing it back to natural energies. You with me? At the same time, it's interesting to note that during the period of the Greeks trying to introduce pederasty, something you should Google. Islam came up around the same time as well. I believe there was also the split between the Catholic and the Byzantine Church. Those two are having a bit of a problem because obviously, once again, too much greed. You with me? Too much Luciferian energy. The empire was expanded wide, but all of the money is going back to Rome. No one's really getting paid. You with me? So a lot of people are kind of like, yo, are we doing this for money or, So if you get the chance, look up the Byzantine Empire and the church split, yeah, the schisms and everything else, yeah. Obviously, you got desires, valuables, partnerships, how you attract a mate, a lesser lock. So just look at it from desires or valuables or what you find valuable would be your Venus, yeah? Okay, now obviously the star of the show, the nativity ruler, you've got the persona, the sun, also identity, who you are when no one's looking. So when you're doing your stuff, you're not even paying attention, you're just in your flow, who you are. That will then show and demonstrate your sun sign. Yeah, a little bit of your moon, don't get me wrong, but more likely your sun sign is coming true because you're just doing uni. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, cool. And then you got your Mars. So if you remember how Mars was moving, you had Honorius, and then we also then had the Roman mans. I was speaking to an ex-patron the other day, and I was like, yo, I've never heard of any form of like gladiator Colosseum type of madness in Egypt. It's only in Rome. Then I remembered, yeah, the actual city was found by two brothers. suckling on a wolf. And the two brothers, Romulus and Remus, allegedly their father is Mars. You see where I'm coming from? So there's that Jojo that comes with it as well, yeah? So just like Venus, be mindful. Obviously, Venus and Mars like to roll together, as was the stories. But just remember what you're pushing. If it's not onerous, then, you know, what is it? What are you doing, blood? What is it? But yeah, your defense, your honor, or lack of what you will fight for. So lesser malefic. Just another thing as well, if I called your name and dash something that, yeah, the first thing you're gonna do is defend. Yeah, that's your Mars. Defend. Unless you got slow reactions, then you got it. Don't get vexed, B. You got me. You know what I'm saying? You're rolling up now, 2 to go. So we got Jupiter. Obviously, in fact, you know what? Let me take a step back. So with regards to your lesser luck and lesser malefic, lesser luck is basically where on your chart you'll look to try and find luck. Lesser malefic is where you will go on your chart to find a bit of resistance, but if you keep working at it, it will make you strong. A lot of people back then, they never really liked to work, you know. They never did. So anything to do with iron is obviously ruled by Mars. If you go to the gym, you're gonna have to bang out weights, yeah? What's the end result? You henching him. Gallum squat challenge. What's the end result? You got man's moving like Vespa at the moon, yeah? Lips the more puckered up. See there? You get what I'm saying? Arousing their earth energies. We're gonna get into that in a second. But yeah, basically, the malefics, they're not really that bad. They just kind of make you have to put in a bit of effort. Not a lot of people like that. Not a lot of people like that. So moving forward now, we then got the lesser luck, as I mentioned before, was Venus. Moving forward again, you got your lucky teacher now, which is Jupiter. Yeah, basically that energy would help you with regards to finding out stuff, secrets and stuff like that would just pop up in your chart because Jupiter's there. Imagine you've got like a test, yeah, standardized test, and there's you're in rows and rows with other students, and the teacher just sees you and kind of gives you some indication to say, yeah, it's B. It's B. You get what I'm saying? You're kind of like looking at her, she's trying to tell you, yo, it's B. Imagine that's Jupiter. Yeah. Cool. Now, with regards to Saturn, Saturn's going to move totally the opposite way. Yo, study. 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 You don't need me if you study. I help you, but study. Because when I'm gone, or if I'm not here, what are you going to do? Because you can't find Jupiter every 5 seconds, you with me? So taking that back, so Jupiter will be your lucky teacher, your greater luck. You don't have to figure it out. I gotcha. That's that type of energy, yeah? And then Saturn is basically your disciplinarian, your teacher, the one like I just mentioned before. You have to figure it out, but once you do, you don't need me or my assistance anymore. You're the master. You get what I'm saying? Saturn is also represented as a square and a cube. When you finish your uni course or whatever, you normally get your masters with the square. You know, you pop it on your head top to let people know you got your masters. You with me? Yeah, that type of juju. So hopefully you get it. One-liner, Saturn, hard work, discipline. Also Saturn's the greater malefic as well, yeah. Jupiter, lucky teacher or lucky areas, greater luck or greater benefic is what they also say as well. Mars, defense. You know what I'm saying? Honor or lack of what you'll fight for or what you're going like an idiot for. You know what I'm saying? Sun, soul, personality, identity, who you are when no one's looking. Venus, desires. Mercury, communication. Moon, nurturing. You want to really try and get these on a one-liner, yeah? Because if you've got that one-liner, then you know the energies, yeah? So like I said before, do you know Craig? Just random name, yeah? Do you know Craig? No, I don't know him. What's Craig? Yeah, man, Craig, man, with the go-to. Yeah, man, my man has got the Z3, man. Beamers is always pushing that stuff. Oh, the road, man. Yeah, man. You get me? One-liner. Yeah, I'm always describing, picking up the energy. Next word that comes out, the next person's mouth is going to be like along that same type of energy. You see me? So just get the one-liners, yeah? All right, cool. So now we're going to touch into the 4 elements, yeah? The 4 L-E. Could say 5, but I'm not going to give you the 5 at the moment. I don't think you're ready for the 5th, you know. No Leela multi-passes. I don't think you're ready for the 5th still. Let's go. Just rock with the 4, yeah? Now, once again, you don't actually have to get all deep in it. I'm just trying to give you an understanding of the juju that it comes with, yeah? So from there, then you'll be like, okay. Now looking just at the actual vibrations, yeah? There's 4 of them on the chart itself. starting from the bottom: earth, water, air, fire, depending upon what system you want to use. I could also say earth, air, water, fire. Once again, depends on what system you want to use. Yeah, but it's all about understanding the actual nature behind the actual elements itself. Yeah, so you got here, boom, sun. Yeah. Now in Egypt, Ra was the main fire god, as was Aten, as was Sekhmet, as was Wadjet. Yes, here's Ra, here's Aten. You get a chance to check out my man still. He did a nice little thing. It wasn't really good for the people that were trying to eat, but he really tried to bring it back. And then we got Sekhmet, which we already discussed. Okay, but we've also got the Wadjet, which is the all-seeing eye, also known as the mind's eye, who resides in the water of Mu and Nunet, water that creates stars, but we'll get into that in a second. When identified as the protector of Ra, who was also a sun deity associated with heat and fire, she was sometimes said to be able to send fire onto those who might attack, just like a cobra spits poison into the eyes of his enemies. In this role, she was called the Lady of the Flame. We know who Helios is, and also Apollo. We just touched on those, and also Sol. So Apollo again. Apparently, he's the creator of music. He's all and I ain't heard no mixtapes or nothing. Yeah, and then we got Sol. To the ancient Greeks, fire was power of transformation stolen from the gods by Prometheus for the protection of humanity. The Greeks had a god called Hestia, and they made one called Hephaestus. Yeah, god of metalworking, artists and sculptors, metallurgy. These energies were blacksmiths, yeah, and workers of fire. When you think of Hephaestus, think Lucifer, as one myth says that he was banished from heaven with a double-headed axe to hell. Yeah, so obviously you can see here now we've got metallurgy, we've got the floppy mane of a, looks like a Trojan, looks like a Spartan, could be a Roman general head top, helmet I should say. But you know, what I'm trying to get across to you is that basically all of the metal work that's there was made by fire, yeah? Fire actually changes stuff, it forces you to change, yeah? Okay, when you think Prometheus though, think forethought, as that's what was the god of, that's what he was the god of, I should say. If you think forethought, you're gonna have to say to yourself, okay, I'm thinking ahead, therefore I'm gonna get a light in my consciousness. Now, where's that light coming from? You get it? Hence the reason why they were saying that my man stole the light from the soul or from the gods to then give it to humanity to protect. If you've got forethought, then that's excellent because you're going to protect yourself, yeah? If you're crossing the street or you're ready to cross the street, you're going to look left and right. That's forethought because you're thinking to yourself, okay, I need to make sure that I'm safe. If you don't have that forethought, then you're going to be rolling with his brother, which is called Epimetheus, yeah? Prometheus, Epimetheus, I should say Epimetheus. Prometheus, Epimetheus, yeah? Epimetheus was his brother, aka Afterthought, or also seen as a falling one, hence 2020 vision. So if you make a mistake, then the light in you will help make it better because obviously now you've got that 2020 hindsight, yeah? Not looking at the moon, hindsight, yeah? Not looking at Luna, leave her alone. Anyway. Boom. Rome said that fire was the male principle in life, courageous, initiating change. Fire in its helpful aspect was called Vesta. In its destructive aspect, it was called Vulcan, yeah? So you can see where I'm going with this. Herodotus links Hephaestus to Ptah. Ptah was a craftsman like the latter and also a creator, the creator of the world in the Memphite theology. So once again, as I say, fire forces change, it gets stuff done, yeah? As you know, without the sun, we'd have no planets. There's a thing called Providentia. It's a good source to look up. Yeah, I'm not going to break it down here. If you want to obviously look further into the fire deities to get an understanding further of fire and how to actually relate it back, you're good to go now, okay? The sun forged the planets as a blacksmith's wood. Fire is the archetype, okay? As fire is worked by a blacksmith, its common sense approach would be that air is linked to fire. To get the fire hot, you need air. So if you look at all the fire signs, you got what, Leo? No, let me start from the start. You got Aries, Leo, and then you got Sagittarius. But if you check their counter now on the opposite side of Aries, you got what? Libra. Other side of Leo, you got what? Aquarius. Other side of Sagittarius, you got Gemini. All of those are air signs, okay? Both are masculine by design, but they both help each other. Bearing in mind, obviously, air can do a lot more damage to fire than it can do to water or earth because it can't get into it, yeah? Fire can pick you up, air can pick you up, fire can shut a man down, so forth. Anyway, to get the fire hot, you need air. All signs opposite fire are air. Air is masculine in nature, as I mentioned, as is fire by Greek and Roman definition. But recall fire in Venus too, and you'll realize that Mars and Venus are opposites that need to be reconciled, okay? In the sense that the masculine signs also have feminine nature, albeit lesser. May not make sense now, but as time progresses, that sentence will be like, oh, okay, see where it's coming from. Man's trying to yin and yang it out, yeah? Yin yang twins. I ain't gonna whisper though. Okay, so we're still there with the fire, yeah? All right, boom, boom. Okay, so we still got the Wajet. Okay, so the Wajet is primarily a snake-headed protector of Lower Egypt, the Delta region. However, the ancient people of the northern area worshipped Wajet as a vulture goddess. Wajet is revered as a goddess of childbirth and protector of children, just like the sun, if you remember. So here you can see now the fire energy. In later years, she became a protector king. Wajet's role is often seen as a forceful defender, while her sister Nekhetbet was seen as the motherly defender. This contrast provided the counterpoint seen in many of the Egyptian deities, okay? The symbol of justice, time, heaven, and hell, Wajet is one of the oldest Egyptian goddesses. Often shown as a cobra, as I mentioned before, or the head of a cobra, Wajet can be seen rearing from the forehead of the rulers. Evidence of her protection is most notable on the funerary mask of Tutankhamun, who used to be called Tutankhaten. Usually she has been shown as the guise of her eye of divine vengeance, role as a lioness. In later years, the royal crowns were often decorated with 2 or more depictions of cobras in defense to her role as protector. While Wajet was sometimes depicted as the lion-headed goddess, she was often seen in the image of a mongoose represented on the funeral urns in ancient Egypt. The mongoose was revered as a sacred animal, along with the shrew mouse. They were mummified and entombed in statues by the goddess. It is believed that the mongoose and the shrew mouse were representative of the day and night cycle, the mongoose representing daylight and the nocturnal shrew mouse representing night, okay? Main Egyptian deities were associated with specific hours, days, and months. The Wajet is no different. Her time was considered to be the 5th hour of the 5th day of the month or lunar cycle. Interestingly enough, December the 25th on the Egyptian calendar was considered to be the going forth of the goddess. While April the 21st was her feast day, so man's is chomping down on the 21st, yeah? The many days when Wajet is honored culminate during her month Epipi, the harvest or summer month. This corresponds to mid-May through mid-June on the Gregorian calendar. Legend has it that Wajet was the daughter of Atum, the first god of the universe, another sun energy there. He created her as his eye. Okay, so now you're thinking, okay, we should be thinking about Prometheus, not Epimetheus, Prometheus, okay? So created her as his eye. Her purpose was to search the universe for his lost sons, Tefnut and Shu. Wajet did find his sons, and Atum was so happy to see them that he cried. Okay, now if Atum's the son and he's crying, then therefore is the soul. Yeah? So it's a nice little metaphor enclosed in a riddle, enclosed in some myth that obviously has some depth to it, yeah? Those tears made humans. As a reward, Atum placed Wajet on his head in the form of a cobra. So that's what you're looking here at the top left, yeah, with the headpiece. And obviously that's made from metallurgy. Obviously the crystals and all that other stuff, and the lapis lazuli, if that's what's in there, and the other gemstones, precious stones, so it would have been beaten with a hammer. That hammer would have been made from, metal forged from fire, yeah? Okie dokes. So they will be feared and respected by all the gods and men. So obviously it's on a forehead. Relax yourself, yeah. I got the Wajet on me, yeah. Not the blicky, the Wajet. So the goddess Wajet appears in the form of the living Uraeus. That's what you're looking at there, to anoint your head with her flames, yeah. She rises up on the left side of your head and shines from the right side of your temples without speech. She's reminding me of the song, yeah. The right side, yeah. Anyway, she rises up on your head during each and every hour of the day, as she does for her father Ra, and through her, the terror which you inspire in the spirits is increased. She will never leave you, strikes into the souls which are made perfect, okay? So that's that there now, yeah, that's called the Uraeus. Just briefly, the Uraeus was a huge spitting serpent, usually referred to as a cobra that coiled around the solar disc, holding its hood erect with the burning eye of Ra. Pause. The Egyptian sun god. In representations of solar deities, the uraeus is shown in front of or coiled around the solar disk. Crowns and headdresses of many of the deities of Egypt have the image of the uraeus. Even Atum Ra, the powerful sun deity, is sometimes depicted with the uraeus on his head. Thus, the uraeus is an emblem of the deity as creator and preserver, as well as a symbol of royalty and power. Okay, you got that thing. Yeah, I got the uraeus. You know, let's go. So fire, I am, I will, and I cease. The language of Aries, yeah, Leo, and we got Sagittarius up in there as well, but that's the nature and the energy of fire. Yes, if you're trying to get fired up, just say to yourself, yeah, man, I am, and I will get this done. And I see, make sure you got that foresight. Yes, what are you trying to get done? Are you trying to look like the fool, Epimetheus? Or are you trying to look like Prometheus? Or are you going to roll with the Uraeus and, have that energy? All right, let's go. Fire. Fire, fire, fire. So we move on now to the air. It's a bit breezy in here, ain't it? It's a bit breezy. So this is now Shu rolling up. He ain't put his two arms up and touch down. He's just rolling there, yeah, because he's trying to represent the air. Okay. In Egypt, Shu was an air god, a cooling, calming influence, and in some myths he is associated with Ma'at as brother, who was the god of balance, hence the wings. Yeah. As you know, both carry the Ankh, which is a symbol for life, which we know now is linked to the cow, which is now known to be linked to the universe. Yeah. Okay. She was the god of peace, lions, fire, air, and wind. Cloud and fog was seen as Shu's bones. Okay. Shu was created to keep Jeb and Nu apart and hold up the sky, and was born from the waters of Nu, which we now know is obviously the Milky Way. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now they also had different winds as well. The east wind was called Henkesui. I think that's the best way I can pronounce it. Yeah. Henkesui. Yeah, who was called the east wind. Yeah, you had Huchai was the west, Kwebi north, Shibui for the south. You can look into them and find out what they represent. Yeah, so basically that's more or less breaking down air from the Egyptian perspective. There's much more air deities, but I'm just going to lean slightly into the Greek just to give you a better perspective to drive home the points. Okay, because obviously we've talked about Shu already. You know about Ma'at. And now you're going to have to do your own research with regards to the four sons of Horus, which we just mentioned before: east, west, north, and south winds. Okay. Now the Greek interpretation was Atlas, which looks the same as your boy Shu, yeah, holding up the thing. But they also had one called Aeolus. So you can see him there blowing out, yeah. I meaning quick, moving, and nimble. Also the Anemoi, meaning winds. Okay. The power of Aeolus rested on the control of, the power of Aeolus rested in his control and desires of the winds. According to myth, Cronion or Zeus had made Aeolus warden of the winds, so that at his pleasure he could order them to rise or fall or shift, whatever suited him. Okay, so winds now generally have that type of juju where you can actually inspire yourself, kind of like fire, but you're more or less inspiring yourself through positive affirmations. Fall, you can do the same internally or to other people, or shift, yeah, whatever suits you. Okay, so with regards to Aeolus, though, he kept the violent storm winds locked away inside of a cavern on an island, only releasing them upon the order of one or more of the greatest gods. Aeolus knew their power, and knew that he should be obviously in control of them, and that they've got the potential to wreak havoc on the world. Okay, so just watch your thoughts or watch your mouth in a nutshell, yeah? Okay, now Mephis, my girl, obviously she looks like Ma'at, but we're not going to go there, but you can, Mephis deserves a mention as well, though, as she is the personification of deep thought, which is what the air element represents, okay? Mephis was born from Oceanus and Tethys, who are personifications of Nu in the celestial waters, okay? Becoming well known to the goddess of good counsel, deep thinking, and cunning through several events involving planning and betrayal, sometimes seen amongst the gods because they used to get up into a lot of mischief. She'll play a role in prophecy and become a part of Zeus's mind later on, adding temperance to his decisions. Okay, temperance is discipline and obviously a bit of balance. Hence the reason why I throughout the year there. Yeah, the Greeks also had a name for each cardinal directions of winds too. So that's what we're seeing in this image here. Boreas was for the north, Zephyrus was for the west, Notus was for the south, and Eurus was for the east. Okay, so some images here of the one that you just saw before was Tethys, or should I say Oceanus, which obviously is representative of Nu, yeah, celestial waters. There's Oceanus and Tethys again. Apparently, they say that she was a nurse, is a water being. I'm just bringing these in just to give you that perspective. And here's the Greeks' perspective of the cardinal winds. Don't know why they're all leaning back. You know, need to sort it out, mate. Okay, so moving forward, because obviously we still need to touch on the Romans themselves. Okay, so the Romans kept Atlas, yeah, and Aeolus. They was like, you know what, forget it, we're just going to keep it. But they did switch up the four winds. So the equivalent of Boreas was Aquilio, Zephyrus was linked to Favenus, Notus was linked to Auster, which is where we get the word Australia from, the southern land, because it's linked, and Eurus was given the link to Volturnus, okay? On a side note, you can go further. Lips was the Greek deity of the southwest wind, often depicted holding the stern of a ship. His Roman equivalent was Alpha Ventus, also known as African wind, Africus, due to the Roman province of Africa being southwest of Italy. His name is thought to have derived from the name of a North African tribe called the Afri. You know, wind can push you back, push you away from shore, or bring you in. Okay, refer to yourself as a body as well, okay? So obviously, like they're saying that you can see him on the front of the ship, you're holding stern, your thoughts and your words will then take you to wherever you need to go, open doors or close them as well, yeah? Okay, the winds pop up all over Roman texts. Vitruvius identifies a whole lot of winds. Ovid recounts how the winds came to be. The story there that the world's maker did not allow these either to possess the air indiscriminately, as it's said, that he didn't really want them to kind of like, you know, tearing up the world apart with each blast. So he just put them out there on their own separate courses, yeah? The brothers are kept apart, each with its own job. So generally, if you think of your mind, if you keep it all apart with its own job, then more time you're worrying, you're not really thinking straight. If you kind of consider it from the perspective of, I would say Aquarius and Leo, yeah? So imagine if you got a lot of thoughts in your mind, they're all building up like Aquarius, which is an air sign, and then something just ticks you off. Everything's going to come out your mouth. You're going to be sound like a lion, okay? The same force. If I was to kind of put it into a metaphorical perspective, yeah? Okay, so each wind had a certain temperament, calm or blustering, warm or cold. The wind in essence had temperaments, okay? See some images kind of depicting the temperaments. Bottom left, you can see the storms all picking up. There's a lot of madness going on down there. And in top right hand corner, it's all chilled out. Yeah, bottom left, so bottom right. People are subdued by the water, more wind again. In the top corner, it's looking a little bit different. Yeah, the energies are there. All the wind is seen. Everything's going to be blustery, but it all depends on how you're actually balancing your mind. Yeah. So another picture here again of Venus, excuse me, being born from the foam, which was Uranus's genitals being thrown into the sea. It's probably a pun on words to say that's why the sea is salty. Basically, the winds are blowing Venus's energy across. So if you do catch a nice breeze, this picture is basically trying to depict that. Imagine how the breeze is picking up some hyacinth or some nice flowers. This is the energy that is trying to actually portray to you, okay? So just to confirm, the north, this is in Rome, yeah, the north was called Boreas, in brackets Aquilio. In a heavy cloak, he's blowing through a twisted shell. The east or northeast is Caicus, carries and empties a shield of hailstones. East is Apilitos, carrying fruit and grain. Southeast, Urias, depicted as an old man threatening a hurricane, and so forth and so on. You can actually do the research and find out about them if you want to get more into the air understanding. And obviously, it would be nice reading as well, just to compare them and see if you can pick up any Egyptian deities that have the same kind of nature, or even Roman and so forth and so on, as well as Greek. Yeah, this is Zephyrus and Hyacinthus. So if you can imagine now, Hyacinthus relates to the plants. You can go further and look into Hyacinthus, the actual nature. But generally, if it's next to wind, that means you're smelling the Hyacinthus. You're going to be like, oh, that's nice. This is a depiction, visually trying to actually portray that energy. When you look at it, you're thinking, oh, you know what I'm saying? Dependent upon whether your appreciation for art is cool or if you're thinking, that's a bit gross. But we'll move on. We'll move on. I ain't trying to violate anyone's third eye, you know? Hold the Uraeus, B. Hold it down. Hold it down. P.O.P. as they say. All right, so moving on now to the aquatic side of things, yeah. Water. So as we know, and we already mentioned, the Egyptians had a lot of water deities as they really appreciated water. They saw the heavens as a water god, Nu, oldest of the Egyptian, ancient Egyptian gods, I should say. And father of nearly everything, because they're saying that basically in the beginning was chaos, and then from the chaos, you know, brought light, yeah. So Nu's name means primeval waters. She represented the waters of chaos out of which we atom began creation, or could say the Ankh, or could say Ptah, I could keep going, but everything started off with that chaos, yeah? There's an image of the boat that we mentioned before, and that's her carrying the AANNKKHH, the Ankh, okay? Amen, Amenet, Nun, Nunet, Keket, He. If you do get the chance, you should check the Hermopolis cosmology, theology, and then from there, then compare it to the Bible. There's a lot of people that have done that and realize, you know what, it's one of the same. Rah, what's going on? A lot of these ancient scholars have been blagging us, yeah? They also had Khnum, god of the Nile, okay, Nephthys, that's in there, Sobek, Khnum again, sorry, Khnum again with, what's the name, Hecate, you know, looking after the little youth there. Okay, then we got Nephthys, apologies, goddess of rivers, death, mourning, the dead, and night. It says here that Nu was uncreated god, personification of the primeval waters, and Tefnut, goddess of water, moisture, and fertility. Okay, this is Nephthys again. We've got Sobek in there. Now you're probably thinking, not Sobek, sorry, we've got Sekhmet in there, and you're probably thinking, damn, what's going on? I thought you had that for fire. But you got to remember, Sekhmet had that kind of a certain thing for, you know, for Anhor. And this is a different type of water that we're talking now, yeah? If you're big peoples, you know what type of water I'm talking about. Yeah, it's that type of water. So when you're thinking of water as well, you still got to think of that type of water. Yeah. Okay. And then now we've got Sobek, apologies, seen as a water energy and also held in high regard for the Nile. And some say that his name means to impregnate. So you got that type of water as well. Okay. Now, also, with a lot of people think Aquarius is the water bearer. No, it's an air sign. Please get it correct. It's not a water bearer. And at the same time, potentially, from what we understand from these perspectives, it was actually pouring out milk. But at the same time, the water that it's pouring from was created from Nu. Okay, so have that perspective as well, that water can hold records, yeah? Can hold the records. Therefore, if you're getting emotionally, you get PTSD, you can get triggers because something could trigger that record to come back out. That's an emotional state. Water also represents the emotions. But just like you got the heavens, they hold water as well. The Akashic records, Akashic basically means sky records. If you're looking at your natal chart, that's dealing with the sky records again, okay? Yeah, you can remember a certain song that will trigger your emotions. You get the point, yeah, you get the point. Okay, so now we're moving slightly across to Greece. Greece ain't the word. The Greeks had a lot of water deities. Everyone knows Poseidon. Yeah, for example, we had a missus called Amphitrite, sorry. The third one who encircles the sea was a sea goddess, but in ancient Greeks, they also had Pontus, the primordial titan, god of the great earth encircling river, Oceanus, also known as Okeanos. Yeah, font of all of the earth's fresh waters, rivers, wells, springs, and rain clouds. Okay, sounds like shoe, don't it? Yeah. Surprising never says that the clouds were his bones as well, yeah? It was also the god who regulated the heavenly bodies which rose from and set into his waters. So that sounds like Nu again, yeah? Okeanos' wife, Tethys, was a nurse and probably envisioned distributing his nourishing waters across the earth through subterranean aquifers. Okay, the Greeks got some long names, you know. They got one here that's called Achelios. Yeah, shape-shifting Greek river god who is the personification of the Achelios River, one of the longest rivers in Greece, sorry. You got to remember as well that in Egypt they had a deity called Happy. He or she represented the Nile, so it looks like they was trying to work with the same energy there. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just trying to show you that, you know, style and pattern got pattern and style. Okay, now the Romans had Oceanus and also Neptune. Okay, so that's Hercules fighting that river that we talked about. The Romans had Oceanus and also Neptune, who had a wife called Salacia, who represented springs and the like. They also had Keleos, who was a sky god like Okeanos, but was more air-based initially than water. But as time progressed, he was given the epithet Kaleos Nocturnus, and as such became god of the nighttime, Nocturnus, as in nocturnal, yeah, starry sky. In a passage from Platos, Nocturnus is regarded as the opposite of Sol, the sun god. Bear in mind we're in Rome now. Nocturnus appears in several inscriptions found in the Dalmatia and Italy in the company of other deities who are also found in the cosmological scheme of Martinus Capella, a writer based on the Etruscan tradition. Now, bear in mind, as soon as you say cosmological, we're now starting to enter the sky a bit higher up here, where the actual waters are as well. So, in the Mithraic mystery system, you'll also see the same chap. Kaleos is sometimes depicted allegorically as an eagle bending over the sphere of heaven, marked with symbols of the planets and the zodiac. So we're now moving higher. In Mithraic context, he is associated with corpse, sunset or sunrise, and can appear as Kaleos Eternus, eternal sky, a form of Ahura Mazda, is invoked in Latin as Kaleos Eternus Jupiter or Jupiter, the sky eternal father. And it says that the walls of some Mithria feature allegorical depictions of the cosmos with Oceanus and Kaleos. So in the end, it started off as airing, and as time progressed and as things started to kick out, they started to try and get some representation to try and remember that nature of creation. Yeah. So water nourishes and is often of a nurturing nature, but also a record keeper. Also deals with lusty selves as well. Also deals with belief systems as well, because you can use water to baptize and things of that nature. Okay. So with water now, I do apologize, that's Kaleos. With regards to water now, you got the juju of I feel, because obviously you got your emotions. I desire, because we were just talking about segment earlier, and obviously Sobek with regards to impregnation, yeah. And then I believe, because you've got the water dealing with baptism and libations and things like that. Okay, that's the energies of water. You get it? You got it? Good. Okay, so still moving on with the 4 elements now, and now we're looking at the last one of earth. Now, I do need to say, if there's any children present, you may want to cover their eyes. I'm not trying to scar people by all means, but I need to get that point across as to what earth represents. Bear in mind that earth is opposite water. We did have a little brief conversation with regards to Sobek and obviously Sekhmet. The images here may, they may scar you. They may sit in your emotional self for a while. All depends on your temperament. Some of you may laugh. Some of you may be like, rah. So if you do, put it this way, if they had sex education and they can stay, if they haven't, then yeah, you may want to take them out and just give them the abridged version, yeah? So the Egyptians had many earth gods dealing with the earth. The main ones that the Greeks dabbled with were Jeb, who had the same nature as earth, okay? We also have Min, okay? Who was another earth deity, part of the resurrection, which is what earth represents as well. But he's always seen around with his oversized permanent erect phallus, yeah? Think obelisk as well, yeah? Or Tekenu as they would call it, representing new growth, resurrection from the earth. He was associated with fresh waters, vegetation. It was said that barley grew from his ribs. This is Min again. It's another angle. Not trying to scar you, so I'm going to chuck this in the way. Okay, that's Min. So that's Jeb on the floor. We do apologize. With the green stuff on his chest and that. Now he ain't got a rash. It's okay, don't worry. It's just food trying to grow from himself, yeah? As I said, it said that barley grew from his ribs and he was depicted with plants and other green patches on his body. He had another one called Renetunet, who was a goddess of nourishment and the harvest. This is Jeb again. Renetunet was the nourishment of the harvest. The importance of the harvest caused people to make many offerings to Renet Nutet during harvest time, relative to earth and regeneration and life returning, yeah? The Egyptians believed that fertility and sex were interlinked, because you've got to put the seed into the earth and then you get growth, yeah? If you put seed into another earth, you're going to get growth. You follow? You dig? So that's the earth energy. But let's see where the Greeks took that perspective and how far they went with it. Okay, now I'm sorry. We get a bit scary. I don't mean to be. I'm going to throw up a disclaimer. A honorable pause, yeah, before we move forward. So the Greeks, interestingly, had a deity called Priapus. It was a fertility god, protector of livestock, fruits, plants, gardens, and male genitalia. So how he was looking, looks a little bit like Min. Okay, Priapus was marked by his oversized permanent things, which gave rise to the medical term Priapism. They also had Persephone as a vegetation goddess, and often shown carrying a sheaf of grain. Okay, so with my girl now, she's there representing earth. Okay, so if you get the chance to check out her legends. Also, Pan gets mentioned. He's recognized as god of fields, groves, wooded glens, and often affiliated with sex. Because of this, Pan is connected to fertility and the season of spring. You probably think, poor goat, but they're trying to represent that type of nature, okay? Obviously, he's whispering in the ear, shh, but we're not going to get into that. Goat's obviously trying to do his best. Someone help the goat. Okay, now in Rome, they had this thing, man. They went too far, blood. They went too far. In Rome, they had this thing called fascinus or fascinum, which is the embodiment of the divine phallus, kidney nut, yeah? Fascinus, the winged penis god. Given to people as phallus effigies, amulets, and spells used to invoke his divine protection. Now, as I'm thinking this, I'm thinking, well, this is what the Gerlam do when they have their hen night. You know what I'm saying? Hen is in ground, bird, laying eggs, new start. Pierre Vidis is just floating around. So probably this is where they get the actual, what's the word I'm looking for now? The rite of passage, so to speak, when you get married. Yeah? It's one of them ones, the earth and the waters coming together. Okay? You resurrecting your romance, to be fair, as well, when you look deeper into it, because obviously you're renewing vows, or you're doing vows to stay together for the sake of the family and whatnot. Okay? So anyway, it was given to people as phallus effigies, amulets, and spells used to invoke his divine protection. Is where we get the word fascinate from, fascinaire. Okay, another earth agricultural deity was called Liber, the free one. Now, with the awareness now that you have with regards to what earth represents, you can see what the artist was doing here. And I respect that, because it's kind of like, yeah, but no, but yeah. You get what I'm saying? All he needed really was the bell at the end. You get the point, yeah? Okay, also known as Liber Pater, the Free Father, a god of viticulture, which is wine, fertility, and freedom. In ancient Lavinium, South Rome, he was also seen as a phallic deity, and another one is called Proserpina. She's associated with the underworld realm. Looks kind of the same as Persephone, okay, and its ruler, along with her mother Ceres, with the springtime growth of crops and the cycle of life and death and rebirth or renewal. Her name is a Latinization of Persephone, perhaps influenced by the Latin prosperi, to emerge, to creep forth, yeah? Live long and prosper also comes to my mind with respect to the growing of grain. Pan's counterpart was Faunus, so I'm going to show you him in a second, but I just wanted to briefly touch on Persephone. Persephone used to go through two gates, one in the spring cycle of the, what's it called now? Equinox, yeah, and then you also have the autumn equinox as well. It says that when she's released from Hades, then she comes up and everything's so sunny and blessed and everything's great. And then when she gets to Libra now, she has to meet Maimon. Maimon's bringing her down to the dungeon and is doing her horrid, which represents once again the rape of Persephone, which ties back to the phallus energy, yeah, and sex. Yeah, they just grossed it out. And then you got my man now that I was talking about before, which is Faunus. If you look in his eyes now, you can see he's looking at you. He ain't really looking at you like he wants to, give you some grapes. He's trying to get some grapes, some melons, to be fair. You know what I'm saying? He's really puckered up like a Vespa. Yeah. Anyway, though, if you look at his energy, it's all dark. There's obviously images and energies with regards to food, autumn, coming close to winter. You got the dark shades. You got the what's that? It's that lion or goat coat. You know what I'm saying? It's got horns. It's more or less Pan again, but it's looking at you with a desire to use. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So that's really the earth energy. It's really active when you check it. Earth's mottos are I use. So obviously you use earth, don't you? The door that's in your house is made from something that you've used. It was a tree at one point, so you used it. Table, chair, everything that you physically can see has been used. Everything you physically can see, you have. So that's part of your materialism. Whether you live in minimalistic or not, you still live in a house that's made from bricks and mortar or something from the earth. And then also, for all of that to happen, somebody had to sit down and analyze the earth, yeah? So with a mercurial energy, that's why Virgo has the motto, I analyze, and Mercury's up in there, yeah? You can start to see it coming together now, yeah? But bear in mind, we're still just looking at the earth energy of which Virgo is. And yeah, we can move forward. But hopefully that starts to click. Okay, so just a small summary now, yeah? We've got Aries, we've got Leo, and we've got Sagittarius, yeah? I am, I will, I see. Okay, and that's the fire symbol, also the fire symbol. So looking at fire, just a summary. Bear in mind, you just want to have one word, like I was saying with regards to the moon. So if it says to me, down moon, I'll be like nurturing. If it says to me, Mars, I'll be like, yo, you ride or die, you fighting instincts. If it says to me, Mercury, I'll be like, how you think. Use one word, yeah? That's all you need to then get that point across with regards to how you're going to structure the conversation with someone. If you're looking at where that actual energy is, then you need to look at not the house, but the sign that it's in, yeah? The house is something different. The sign is what we're looking at the moment now, based on the juju that it carries. Okay, so searing, dry, eager, looking at fire, archetype of which all wants to be. So everybody wants to be fire. Everybody wants to be the soul. Everybody wants to be the bar, the bird with the throat, yeah? You know, force that affects, impels, changes structure by force, permeates. Fire makes you brave, raises your persona, makes you proud, provides the light that enlightens your poems or art or songs, gives you courage. It impels you to seek more knowledge and travel to see new cultures and other illuminating points of view. You proud one, you see you proud. It's you the fire, yeah? Blazing. More fire. All right, so we're looking at the air, yeah? You got your Gemini, which is really a candle. We're going to get into that, yeah? They say it's the twins. It's really yourself and your soul. You know, everyone's looking for a soulmate, but it's really you. We'll get into that. You got Aquarius, and you got Libra, and the air sign, yeah? And the feather, because we're talking about air. Okay, so light, hot, wet, changeable, the conduit for thoughts, messages, and words. Form, intangible ideas. The human imagination can blow the essence of hyacinth, of Venus energies, or blow out a candle, or knock a sea, of course. Words have power, as do thoughts. Words set contracts. Words help you with your sibling. Can also reinvigorate embers, or blow it out, or help burn the bridge. You know, so if you're leaving somewhere, people say, yo, don't burn the bridges. And you're like, nah, man, yo, loud that blood. You know what I mean? You start chanting, saying your stuff, really obviously invoking fire and air, but more time it's just all the stuff coming out your mouth to burn the bridge, yeah? Blazing. Okay, so move on now. We've got water. Anyone? Yeah, it's Cancer. 2 crabs. 1 crab, actually. Two claws, I should say. Next one now. Yep, as you know, Scorpio. And then we've got Pisces. They say it's 2 fish, but it's really 1 fish, but it's another conversation, yeah? You got the water sign going down. Squiggly, yeah? All right, so cold, wet, soft water, creative in the sense that water is linked to the heavens, as we mentioned before. As we started off, why is it called the Milky Way, yeah? And then we obviously discussed the AANNKKHH. Now you understand what your Ankh is all about. You can talk about the phallus, and you know, and the womb and the ovaries, but let's look at it on a higher levels. It's actually dealing with a creation theology. Okay, but it came from the waters, as like how you came down the birth canal, water again, yeah? How you actually got into the canal, water again, yeah? You get it now? So water obviously deals with emotions, it brings forth life. It's the human psyche. Water holds records like the Milky Way, as I said before, the Akashic records. Akashic actually means sky, records. So obviously then you're looking up, where's the record? Oh yes, the zodiac, it is what it is, ain't it? A natal chart, it's your sky record as well. You can't change the water. A well that can't change water, sorry, I do apologize, structure that again. So a well that can't change water is like the emotions you hold for a past ill. So I say that because I'm thinking of the Scorpio water, to say that each water has a certain temperament. So to take it back and just give you a little gem, yeah? Cancer will be like a stream, merrily, you know, little canal. Scorpio will be a well, a very deep well that can't be changed. You with me? And then Pisces will be like the celestial sky, water, yeah? It's just big, expansive. And if you're looking at Scorpio's well that can't be changed, just storing all of these emotions, whether they're great or bad, it's still storing them to the point where it's like, yeah, but I remember you brought my pencil, man. And the man will be like, yo, that was nursery. You're 40, what's going on? Come on, let it go. Yeah, but I love that pencil. B-boy, I'm a big man now. Come on, B. You know what I'm saying? You need to be mindful of the stuff that you're carrying, because it can make you bitter and obviously adjust your vibrations, yeah? So that's what I was trying to say. A well that can't change water is like the emotions you hold for a past ill. But remember though, obviously in Pisces, water forgives and sacrifices and baptizes and performs libations. So those are the energies of water. If you get it, you got it, you got it, you get it. Okay, now we're looking at Earth. We got there Capricorn, trotting in, Can't really try to too tough because Tuesday's got that mermaid back. I don't know, blood. I don't know. Now the joking is because it's next to the Ankh, ain't it? If you're paying attention. You then got obviously Taurus. Yeah, lovely Taurus, Venusian energies, and then finally Virgo with their beautiful self. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Boom. Little cake popped up, but it's not cake. It's the ground, Senate board to be specific, but we won't go into that. So heavy, cold, dry, active. Earth is enduring and goes through many cycles of death and resurrection like a farmer's field. Regenerative in nature, everything made manifest is from earth, as I mentioned, to the door, from the tree it was made from. But they look, and obviously, sorry, but they took time to be made, yeah? So the tree had to grow, it took a while to chop it down, took a while to fashion it into a certain, yeah, that's time. So obviously earth also represents time as well, yeah? Slow, plant the seed, you're gonna have to wait for a while for it to grow and deliver the fruits. So when people are talking about, yeah, do this, that, and the third to manifest, you've also got to factor in the earth side of things, yeah? A lot of these people, yeah, manifest this, man I bless, gyal I bless, manifest. Fam, relax. It takes time. You mean you work through the four vibrations to bring it to earth, but as soon as it's on earth, you take time, man. Just relax, be, you know? Yeah. So earth is to be analyzed to see its secrets for health and nutrition, and also explored and conquered like a mountain. Prestige and honors are found in working the earth. Immortality is not to be in the casket, but from the children you create, whom also come from you, for are you not earth resurrected? I like that when I read that, you know. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm all right. Boss, fire. Anyway, you know, that's the perspective of the four elements themselves. Yeah, hopefully it makes sense. Now, if you're paying attention, you would have seen that obviously I got the four elements, but slightly across, and I had the four elements again. But none of y'all have had this. And if you had, and you're like, yeah, but I knew that, now you're lying, B. You're lying because you would have said this to me a while back. You with me? So if you look now at the bottom, we've got the symbol for Amun-Ra, yeah? As you can see now, earth, air, fire, water. Yeah, you probably think it was that stick. That's the fifth. That's the fifth. We won't go into that, yeah? It's the fifth though, yeah? So Amun-Ra to be specific. So anyway though, boom. Remember we was talking about the languages. We had the, what was it now? Phoenician. Then we had the hieratic, demotic, hieroglyphs and whatnot. And then we obviously understood that Greek leads into Hebrew. This is the Hebrew perspective. That word there actually is YHWH. Okay, it's actually a picture. So if you do get the chance and you decide to look back, you can actually use the zodiac alphabet that I gave to you. Remember to turn your head, because it's all about that, the orientation, yeah? And then you'll be able to actually see what this picture actually means. It's actually a representation of two choices, yeah? Behold heaven, behold hell. Two choices. That's what this actually means. Behold heaven, behold hell. What should I say? Because I read from the other side. Behold hell, behold heaven. One or the other. Yeah, you got the choice. But then that then leads into the Sephirah. If you know about the Sephirah, holla. If not, I showed you what's crack-a-lacking, yeah? Boom. There you go. Earth, air, water, fire, Sephirah. Okay? That's the next kind of conversation though. We're dealing with some next type of things, yeah? Okay, cool. So we're now going to go briefly, and I say briefly, I'm going to try and be as quick as I can because I wanted to keep these under an hour. I'm going to briefly look and touch onto the Trinity, okay? Boom. Let's go. Step inside. Step into a world. Yeah, the Trinity, a brief intro. If you recall, the Trinity was sustained in Egypt and was a way of life, yeah? You had Ptah, Sekhmet, Nefertum. If you remember, I was saying that one creates, one destroys, the other one's like a resurrection type of juju. You hear me? So this is Ptah now, just briefly, because we haven't touched on Bora before. Pause. One of ancient Egyptians, many created gods. Ptah was the inventor of the arts, the patron of craftsmen, especially sculptors. He was the high priest, he was called the chief controller of craftsmen. He was seen as a creator or sustainer, because obviously, remember, he's now related to fire. You get me? So you're looking at fire now. Yeah, another fire one again. Fire, you know, blood. This is Sekhmet, a very old Nubian deity. So Nubian, man. You need to check them out when you get a chance, yeah? Their cosmologies and their juju. So anyway, there was a Nubian deity. She was the patron of physicians and healers, and her priests became known as skilled doctors. Believe it or not, you're probably thinking, but hang on, no, where's the Sekhmet? No, relax. It's okay. You know, she was a defender of Ma'at. You know, she was probably just the runner of the Gyal army, like, you with me? Okay. But also remember, like I say, she was seen as a destroyer. But these two, they was chilling together. You with me? That's her catching, you know, with their drapes and thing. But these two are checking. Yeah. Watch. Oh, yeah. So Sekhmet was closely associated, they had a baby, yeah. Sekhmet was closely associated with kingship. She was often described as the mother of Maize, the lion god who was a patron of the pharaoh, and the pyramid texts from Dynasty 5 suggest that the pharaoh was conceived by Sekhmet. For example, one relief depicts the pharaoh Nusiri being suckled by Sekhmet, not the picture at the bottom, but it's a picture that's out there. This ancient myth is echoed in the New Kingdom reliefs in the Temple of Seti I, which depicts a pharaoh being suckled by Hathor, whose title is Mistress of the Mansion of Sekhmet. Yeah. All right, cool. So like I said, I had a little toddler. His name was Nefertom. Yeah, they're rocking his fro. Little flower on the head top. That flower is actually a lotus. If you know the science and the mystics behind the lotus, it sits on what? It's dirty water. It seems to come from beauty, from the actual mist and the dirtiness. So the actual, when you break it down, the image itself of the water parting and the blood coming up is kind of like the Agdod, like a cosmology explanation when you peep it poetically, yeah. But anyway, Nefertum has given title shows such as He Who Is Beautiful, The Younger Tomb, Water Lily. Now, the reason why they say the Younger Tomb is, like I said, because of how it's created, yeah, and the Water Lily, Lotus of the Sun. He was associated with the rebirth and resurrection, both as personification of the newborn sun and with the patron of many ingredients of mummification process. Okay, personification, sorry, of the newborn son and the patron of many ingredients of the mummification process. A passage says of the Book of the Dead that says, rise like Nefertum from the lotus to the nostrils of Ra and come forth upon the horizon each day. It's nice, ain't it? The lotus means resurrection in this mystery trinity, as do the others. And this was the African theme and representative of the underlying theme for most of the cosmologies that were out there. It's all about that family unit. You with me? So you got the dad, you know, the mom, and the youths. You know, it's love. Look after them. Play your position. Do what's proper. And remember, you got the youths them to look after. Yeah. All right. Boom. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And then what? We got another one. I just wanted to drive that point home. Yeah. So got the one arm drive, next arm driven down now. And I'm going to show you where the next thing's going to move now. You got Ammon, Mut, and Khonsu. Yeah, so this is Ammon. We already spoke about Ammon. He's rolling there. Yeah, it's giving man Ankh, man life. It's like, yo, I got you, B. Yeah, breathe this. It's fire. It's not the Pyrex vision. No, B, it's life. Okay, so one of the ancient Egyptian many creator gods. Ammon is usually depicted as a bearded man wearing a headdress with a double plume, or after the New Kingdom as a ram-headed man, or simply a ram. And then obviously my man came in respectively and turned into Zeus. Get out of here, be relax. Anyway, symbolizing his fertility in his role as Amun-Min. So you remember seeing the earth energy? Yeah, they did one for my man. He was the first one that was kind of nonchalantly calm before the next one came through and just all up in your grill. Yeah. Anyway, his name means the hidden one, invisible, mysterious of form, and unlike most other Egyptian gods, he was considered Lord of all, who encompassed every aspect of creation. He was seen as the creator or sustainer. That's the point I'm trying to point across. Okay, and then you got Mu or Mut. It's also an old deity, but she's an amalgamation of old energies impressed onto a new energy. As a woman with the wings of a vulture holding an ankh, wearing the united crown of Upper and Lower Egypt and a dress of bright red or blue with the feather of the goddess at her feet, you know. Okay, alternatively, as a result of her assimilations, Mu is sometimes depicted as a cobra, a cat, a cow, or as a lioness, as well as the vulture. Okay, so you can see over time they try to push some different representations on her, but the reason why I chose her in this situation is just to show the contrast between the sun and the night, yeah? So, what should I say, the moon, yeah? The temple, Mut, the estate of Mut, was situated to the south of the great temple of Amun-Ra, with an avenue of sphinxes approaching it. She was worshipped there as Mut, the great lady of Isharu, the lady of heaven, the queen of the gods. Strangely, there are few representations of her in her vulture form, but in his temple, however, there are numerous depictions of her as Sekhmet. Okay, and then that's her rolling with obviously Ammon. Same kind of juju, same kind of energy, because they tried to keep that tradition, they just remixed it. We can do that, you know, Puff Daddy, you can just remix the remix and remix that remix, you know, we can do that. Without even having to say the word respectively, because it's our thing, yeah? Okay, so they had a son now, and his name was Khonsu. He was seen as a moon god. So if you remember, Nefertum was like a solar youth. This one now is a moon youth. Yeah, the moon god Khonsu participated in the reckoning of time, like and the rest. You know, he's assisted by Toph, and he was believed to influence the gestation of both humans and animals, and was even connected to creation myths by the Khonsu cosmogony, which was preserved in a Ptolemaic text record on the walls at the Khonsu temple at Karnak, and which explains the connection between the Theban Khonsu and the creation resurrection myths of Memphis and Hermopolis. Okay, so boom, there is again with the side lack of youth, because it was a youth. Get it now? One of the many aspects of Mu was a composite deity by the name of Isis, Mu Isis Nekhbet, known as the Great Mother and Lady in the form. Also, you know, I do apologize. This is referring back to the mom again. One of the many aspects of Mu was a composite deity by the name of Mut, Isis, and Nekhbet, known as the Great Mother and Lady. In this form, she was depicted as a winged goddess with 3 heads, that's of a lion, a vulture, and a woman with different headdresses. She also had lion-like feet and an erect penis, confirming the death resurrection aspect. So if you can now see creation, death, resurrection, life. Okay, cool. Let's go. So you get the point what I'm trying to get to, yeah? Part of the tradition. Yeah. Part of the tradition, blood. Wonder where I've seen that before though. What did he do? Okay, so looking at it from an astrological perspective now, I'll try and make it as much sense as possible. Yeah, got fire, air, yeah, water. Okay, earth. And you're probably wondering, how can I remember these? So just think to yourself, fire has no limits, yeah? Air does. Water has no limits, but earth does. That's the best way I can pull it across, yeah? So if you see the line, it means it's got a limit, therefore it's not operating at its full potential. So fire's got no limit, yeah? Air has a limit because it can just change directions. It's got a limit, yeah? Water's got no limit. Earth has a limit because it's got to sit on. Be humble yourself. So they're the elements anyway, yeah? Got it? Now, from an astrological perspective, I'm thinking, okay, well, cardinals must be like, you know, there must be the youths of the energy that they're trying to possess, yeah? So all cardinal signs are initiators or children, yeah? See for children, yeah? Cardinal signs are initiators, the starters of the season. As such, they are like the children of the element they carry. It's not strong, but if you're the force of the season to carry, yeah? It's not strong there. Yeah, I feel it. Okay. They also resurrection of the new season, the will for new beginnings, if that's the beginning of winter, autumn, spring, summer. Direct action on the impulse of the elements they represent, okay? So with Aries, you know, the sun's coming out, you're like, yeah, let me rock a t-shirt. Oh, okay, yeah, you want to rain on me. And that's cold again, you get what I'm saying? But you know it's there. You know, well, it's not there, but it's there. Same as Libra, same as Cancer. Like in Cancer at the moment is supposed to be summer, but you know that glory goes to Leo, innit? So that's why it's the fixed sign now. It's like a fatherly type of kind of energy, yeah? So you got Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, yeah? Okay, so they're the fixed signs, which are kind of like fathers, because they're fixed. They don't change, stubborn, unwavering, directly showing a key season and or elements of said sign. The approach is masculine, and the nature rarely falters in expression of the nature of the element it carries. As such, they are the father in nature due to the outward expression they push. So when August comes now, summer, no other energy, even when it's raining, it's hot and it's hot. Hobby. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. And you got the moms now. You're probably thinking, why is the mom though? Why you got the mom right at the back? And I'm thinking, well, obviously, relax. You know, so they can't be easy. Stand down. Push back the you know, the budget. None of that's not needed. Behave. No, I'm joking. So you got the mom now, Sagittarius, Gem, Virg, Pisces. Okay, so the reason why it says this is that they're mutable signs, M for mutable, M for mom. Okay, now with the mutable signs, when you check it, they understand the first 2 elements, they understand the man and they understand the child, yeah? So they got that wisdom to mutate between the 2 forms, and that's such to like the mothers, you get me? So they can show you the energy of the nature with strength, or be like, no, let me just fail it back. But at the same time, it also represented the death of kind of the same sex period. It's kind of like if you look at the moon now, obviously it goes through a lot of cycles, but the main 3 are going to be the new moon, full moon, and the waxing moon, yeah? The new is like a child, ain't it? The full is too much. If you've got a telescope, try and look in the full moon, your eyes hurting. It's not the one. And then the last one that's fading out, but it's got the wisdom of the other two. Wisdom, as you know, is Sophia. Sophia is a woman's name. Philosophia, you mean the love. I love Sophia, man. You mean wisdom. So if it's got wisdom, it's going to be feminine by nature. You get it? All right. So that's why I said stand down. Giving you gems and jewels. Not trying to mug you off. Relax. It's all right. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, basically they also die, but at the same time they're ready to give birth to the new season. You see what I did there? Yeah, you like it? All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so the final comment. So it was the Egyptians who first symbolized ideas, and that's why the figures of animals, yeah? These records, the most ancient of all human history, are still seen engraved on stone. Still here, you know. The Egyptians also claim to have invented the alphabet, which we now see what's cracking, okay, which the Phoenicians, they say, by means of their superior seamanship, introduced it to Greece, of which they approved, or should I say appropriated, respectively, the glory, giving out that which they had discovered, which they really had been taught. Yeah, so those rolling like, yo, when really it was like, yo, man put you on, yeah. Anyway, so that's the Annals of Tactius, by Cornelius Tactius. Nice dude. Let's go. Okay. You're probably thinking, okay, that's cool, but I got one last thing. Yeah, I gotta pull it out of the bag. I'll pull it out. Come on, sir. Let's go. So the Greeks, when they decided to roll in, decided to do something a bit sinister. So if you remember, I was talking about the tradition of saying that you're a god before you then start to create a new mystery system. Yeah, can you imagine Alexander of Macedonia? You guys know him as Alex the Great. It's Alex of Macedonia. It was all right still, you know, he rolled in, he got rid of the Persians' force, but then he turned around and was like, you know what, yeah, you're gonna make me son of Ammon. You know, you're gonna mint me some coins. If you don't like it, I'm gonna murk you. So everyone was like, yeah, whatever. He rolled upon people with a blade, and they was like, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you are that dude, you know. Let's go. So they got him now. They got him minted with some coins. And these coins now, hopefully you can see them here. Got the horns there, yeah? The horns of Ammon. And try and say Zeus. He tried to even blend the two together and say, yeah, you know, we got Ammon Zeus, I'm the son of Ammon Zeus. Let's go. Okay, so try that. Did the thing. That was like, yeah, got it done. Had a couple of battles. He got murked off. God bless his soul. Death to death, he got murked off. But this is his empire, yes? It's quite hench. Not bigger than the Roman one still, but it's quite big. Yeah. So obviously everyone's like, yo, who's gonna run it? They looked at his brethren, his right hand man. I think he was a bit Laffy Taffy, and he was kind of like, you know what, you're the generals, B. Wicked, jungle is massive, you're the general. Levi the thing, yeah? So they said, all right, cool, we'll get together, the generals. There's about 5 of them, I think. The 2 main ones that you want to watch out for, though, is the Ptolemies, yeah, and Seleucus, okay? Seleucus, however you want to pronounce it. They was all part of the actual team. They were called the Diadochi, yeah? The Diadochi means successors, and they were rival generals, families, and friends of Alexander the Great, who fought for control over his empire after his death in 323 BCE. The wars of the Diadochi marked the beginning and the end, you know, the end, oh my God, of the Hellenistic period. The end of the Egyptian period, the beginning of the Hellenistic period, from the Mediterranean Sea to the Indus River Valley, yeah? Okay, so they span between 322 275 BCE. As I said before, the main 2 people to watch, you got Ptolemy over here, and my man over here, Seleucus. Now he got India and did a whole bag of stuff down there. Yeah, that's not really beneficial. You may think it is, but if you knew the truth, you'd be like, you know what, nah man, they mugged us off. Really they did. So if you get the chance now, check into your yoga practices, because it's Greco-Indian, Greco-Hindu, Greco-Buddhism. Yeah, Greco, did a lot of stuff. So anyway, my man now, Ptolemy. All right, let's look at him and see what he's done. So, yeah, they created Ptolemy the First, yeah. After watching Alexander, it was like, you know what, I want to be like my man, you know, I want to be like Mike, but I want to be better. What can I do? He's already conquered this, that, and the third. I've exhausted my armies trying to actually beat up the other people. to actually claim my certain lands and everything else. I'm going to roll with Seleucus. Me and him are going to be brethren, but what can I do, man? Can I do that slightly different? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a new god. Yeah, that's where Alex was going with it. Don't know why, but let's go with it. So he found one of ours. Obviously, we know what the Apis is, we know what the bull represents, yeah? You know it's cracking, you know it's good. And you know what Osiris represents. So, you know what is cracking, yeah? So, carrying on tradition, he then merged the two of them and got his Greek brethren to come down and be like, yo, we're worshipping this now, yeah? We're worshipping this. We're going to update it again, though, and drop it like this on them, yeah? We're going to remix the remix and remix everything again after that, yeah? So created Serapis, then you got Serapis Christos. Serapis or Ursa Apis or Osiris Apis is a Graeco-Egyptian deity. The cult of Serapis was introduced during the 3rd century BC under orders of Pharaoh Ptolemy I Suter of the Ptolemaic kingdom as a means to unify the Greeks and the Egyptians in his realm. The Serapeum, which is basically a building that they made for man, was a temple or religious precinct devoted to Serapis. The cult of Serapis was spread as a matter of deliberate policy by the Ptolemaic kings, who also built the immense Serapeum of Alexandria. Okay, now the Serapeum is a building where, when the bull, can you imagine how they're rolling around with a lot of these bulls, yeah, as an advertisement or as a method to remind people, hey, you know, you're gonna go heaven soon, yeah. Behave. Remember, maintain my arts, yeah. Keep it jiggy. Don't be a fool. Okay, but when the bull died now, they had to bury the bull in a place called Saqqara, Egypt. That is the big area where big festival. It's kind of like London Carnival, yeah, but a bit bigger. Everybody can make money. Everyone's having fun. They're obviously renovating the bull some morning, but more time now it's just for people to get money and have fun and whatnot. Yeah, get together like a communal. Yeah. All right. So telling me, like, you know what? You're not gonna bury the bulls there now. You're gonna bury it here at my Serapeum with my Serapis Christos. Everyone's kind of like, yo, what you doing, fam? You know, I mean, you can't do that. Allow it, fam. What you doing? So it says, you know what? I'm just gonna give you the nutshell version. If you don't like it, I'll shut everything down. All right, cool. So just to give you a bit more insight on the bull, yeah? The bull was a potent symbol of creativity in the ancient world, as you know. We started off with that, innit? Why is it called the Milky Way? It was a bull sacred to Ptah, or should I say Ptah, yeah? Constantly kept in a court beside the temple of Ptah. Each successive bull was black and had 29 characteristic markings, such as a triangle, a white patch on the forehead, scarab on the tongue, or something to make it look auspicious. The flesh of each dead bull, when it passed its useful time, yeah, was removed from its skin, bones, and other residue were embalmed. The result mummy was buried with the ceremony, as I mentioned before, at Saqqara, where the early step pyramids are also found. The remains of 60 of these bulls are buried, and either in separate tombs or in the complex underground vaults that came to be known in Greek and Roman times as the Serapeum, as I mentioned before, of Saqqara, yeah? Each bull was given the name Happy. We get the name for the Greeks is Apis, okay, which is also the Nile deity. So if you remember, I was talking about water, and it says, yeah, they had a Nile deity called Happy. So that comes from, I'm not too sure if it's connected to the word happy birthday, but you know, looking at the sun is born from the water. You could try and force it, but I'm not gonna go down that route, yeah? Okay. So it was regarded as a fertility god and also considered to have oracular powers. Okay. Apis was also connected to Osiris in the divine triad Ptah, Sokaris, and Osiris, representing once again creation, death, and resurrection. The temple would be used as a place for performing the last rites over each bull on the day of the burial. It's not fair, but it's kind of obviously, like I say, people can get their money, can buy, you know, little bulls and stuff like that. Give it to the kids, remind them to maintain my arts, you know. Every bull are given his own tomb, a mortuary chapel at Saqqara. All the bulls would be buried in the same underground cemetery. While alive, the bull, Happy, was the center of numerous festivals at the temple of Ptah in Memphis, and in dead, it was given regular offerings and rites at his shrine, as stated. Now, this is coming from a dude called Camwaset, okay? But obviously, you can do your own research and find out what's cracking. But I just had to bring this key point across here so you can see it as a momentous thing In Heliopolis, they had a bull called Nemer, representing the sun god Atum Re. In Hermonthis, they had one called Bukis, an incarnation, of the war god Montu. So it was a big thing. It's really, really big thing. So for the man to be like, yo, you're not doing it there now. It's like saying, yo, you're not gonna have London Carnival here. You're gonna move it to Bradford. You're not gonna have New Year's Eve celebration in Times Square. We're gonna move it to, oh no, Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? So all the money's there. You're gonna be like, what are you doing? That make no sense, B. Fall back, relax. Yeah. So just to kind of stress the point again, the bull, the cow was held in high esteem, a living reminder to remember the heavens, which you all go back to. When it died, it was a momentous affair. Tradition had it that they were buried in the Serapeum and Saqqara. Okay, some more images just to drive the point home to make it relatable so you can understand. Big tombs, you know, big. Been here, it's a nice place. The bereaved animals placed in the funeral halls in Saqqara on a regular basis, as was the ancient tradition. And Ptolemy, he had a son. But we're not going to go into that now. We're not going to go into that in a second. But bear in mind now, it was near Saqqara, which is further back. You're telling everybody now you got to go all the way down the Nile to the place called Alexandria, and obviously chill down here, yeah? Okay. So going back to the original point now. So Ptolemy the Elder was like, you know what? This new God. He just created this out of thin air. Yeah, we're not really feeling it. It's an abomination. He's trying to keep into the tradition that it's a son of God. Of whose God? It's not ours. You know, stop it. Leave it alone, B. Don't do it. So it was like, you know what, we're going to do it. If you don't like it, shut everything down like I was saying before. And yeah, go so. So when he created Serapis, now he created their own Serapeum. Yeah. People tested him. So he turned around and says, all right, cool. We're going to do it. And we're also going to shut down all of your schools because we're not feeling you. Yeah. We're creating this God and it's going to be here. You don't like it? Go. And went all the way down the Nile, shut down Elephantine, shut down Thebes, collected all the scrolls that were in there. Remember the records and everything else we've just been talking about. Same place again, Thebes. Also Hermopolis, shut down the records, shut down the schools, shut down all the little ones in between. Memphis, Heliopolis, brought everything back, all paperwork, so that these other organizations now can't do nothing, can't hold no festivals, yeah, can't do diddly squat. Everyone now has to come down to Alexandria. And bear in mind, Serapis is in the Serapeum in Alexandria. They had all of these knowledgeable books. They were like, yo, okay, we're going to bring these and put these in here as well. And what we're going to do now is we're going to change the name of this building to the Museum. I never said museum, I said Museum. I'm not trying to sound French either. That's what they call it, the Museum. Yeah, oui. Okay. They're taking the oui. For real. Okay, so while he was in there now, Ptolemy's getting old and decrepit, yeah, with his cantankerous self, and he had a son. So obviously they believe in the resurrection, so he called him Ptolemy II. The remix, yeah, Ptolemy II Philadelphus. Ptolemy I was called Soter because he really believed himself to be the savior. But what is he saving? What is he saving? He's actually saving his people, yeah? And I'll show you why. So while he was crossing over, before he was crossing over, he spoke to his son and says, yo, boy, you need to carry on this mission. So Ptolemy II became the master of fiscal exploitation in the Egyptian countryside. So therefore he's bullying people, you know, he's just stressing them for money, and also made Alexandria a main trading and export center, okay? Ptolemy II was very interested in the arts, literature, and science. Key one's literature. So, you know, he's gonna now start looking at messing up some of these scriptures that he's got, and science. While the ruler of Egypt, he greatly expanded the Museum and then changed its name to the Library of Alexandria, holding all the theologies and the other arts such as philosophy, metaphysics, and the rest of the African history amassed, yeah? Okay, during the Museum, to Library of Alexandria name change, Ptolemy commissioned a Greek translation of the Hebrew law in what became known as the translation of the 70, more importantly, or simply the Septuagint. Tradition has it that Ptolemy assembled 6 leaders, he would have been the 7th, from each of the 12 tribes of Israel to formulate and compose its first Greek translation of the Hebrew law, also known as the Torah, or the first 5 books of the Old Testament. His nickname 70, or the Roman numeral LXX, was shortened for those 72 Hebrew authors, okay? Now, remember we were speaking about Hebrew is Greek, yeah? Remember these people are Greek. Okay, so let's keep it moving. The first 5 books of the Testament were translated in the Septuagint around 3rd century BC, yeah? And the rest of the books were completed by the 2nd century BC, okay? Despite tradition that said it was perfectly translated, there are large differences in style and usage between the Torah and the latter books of the Old Testament. Christians ultimately used the Septuagint to locate prophecies, but Jews considered this misuse of the scriptures and stopped using the Septuagint altogether. This Greek text was the main basis for the Old Latin, Coptic, Ethiopic, Armenian, Georgian, Slavonic, and parts of the Arab translations of the Old Testament, and has never ceased to be the standard version of the Old Testament in the Greek Church. St. Jerome even used the Septuagint to begin his translation of the Latin/Vulgate Old Testament in 382 AD 11. Okay, so that was just after the Council of Nicaea, but that's a different discussion. So yeah, basically they created this book from the data of the other schools. It's not me saying this is the research that I've come across. Okay, obviously there's going to be a lot of people contending. So we now got Serapis in the building. Yeah, the Library of Alexandria, they got a new book now to sit in there. Yeah, as a fictional god created by Ptolemy, Serapis accomplished its goals of unifying Greeks and the Egyptians under one religious icon. His son Ptolemy II then changed the location of the funeral for the cows. This change in the location of offerings then resolved to shut down the other competing mystery systems and take all the data they held, which made his mystery system the prime center. Okay, so all of that history, all of that, those years, you know, of father to son, is just now handed over to the next man. Later Ptolemy rulers considered themselves as gods, according to historian Will Durant. Later Ptolemies encouraged the cult of themselves as gods to offer a common and convenient object of worship to the heterogeneous population with Serapis at the Septuagint and the Septuagint, sorry, as the new mystery system. Yeah. Okay. Apologies for the small typos. I just noticed some of them there popping in. Okay, so we got here now, man like I saw, yeah. We got the bull, yeah, just to kind of give you an understanding again. And then we got Serapis over here, yeah, or Ursa Apis, or Osiris Apis, or Serapis Christos, yeah. So it's from a reigning illegitimate Greek kingdom in Egypt, merging Egyptian and Greek mythology and religion, shut down all the mystery systems, and then created a new mystery system that found the Hebrew text and its apparent understanding of deep African tradition to then commission the Septuagint Bible. The idea for the Septuagint was conceived by the son and the heir of a king who purposely created a fake god named Serapis in order to politically unify the people of 2 different regions, religions, culture, and also shut down Egypt and have its revenue streams come to Alexandria, because that was going to be the key things, yeah? Alexandria now is balling, yeah? Okay. Ptolemy II, the king who commissioned the Septuagint, which was housed in the Serapeum, updated then to the Museum, updated then finally to the Library of Alexandria, was not a Christian. He reigned nearly 300 years before Christ. If anything, he worships the artificial god Serapis, created by his father, Ptolemy I. The Ptolemy line of kings even considered themselves to be ordained by the gods of Egypt and co-equal with them wherever it was politically convenient, as mentioned earlier. At other times, they worshipped and considered themselves ordained by the Greek gods, dependent upon whether the audience in front of them at any given time was Egyptian or Greek or even Roman. Okay. Okay, so moving forward now, we're going to look at the Roman interpretation, but you got to remember certain key things, yeah? The Roman interpretation, it needs to have a divine word, because that was the tradition, yeah? It needs to have a birth of a god from a water, because that was the tradition as well, as part of the mystery system, you with me? It needs to have a holy text font, because that was also the tradition as well. They'll need to have someone to declare themselves as the child of God, okay, once again, because that was the tradition. They would also need to have someone with a death, okay, or something in there to represent it, a major death, a calamitous, oh my gosh, because that was the tradition. And then from there, they would need to move on and make something come back to life, because once again, creation, death, resurrection was the tradition. The Romans, seeing how much money was made in Alexandria, were really interested in how they could have something like that in Rome, yeah? Why have it all the way down there, we can have it over here? You know, don't make any sense why being down there. Let's try and figure something out and get it up here, yeah? Just to recap again, so what would the Roman interpretation be like? I mean, it looks kind of familiar, but I can't put my little finger on it, yeah? It's another image again of Osiris, Serapis Christos, yeah? You know, it's funny how they change the whole image and put it into a next kind of light. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Something for you to ponder on, to consider. So anyway, here's a letter from the consul servants of Emperor Hadrian. It says, now those worshippers of Serapis are called Christians, and those who are devoted to the god Serapis, I find, call themselves Bishop of Christ. Christianity was set up officially as the Roman mystery system at the Council of Nicaea after a debate that Serapis Christos was not the Son of God. Okay, you need to look into the Council of Nicaea and the ones that came after as well. They shut everything down. They adopted the Septuagint as well. The 7 energies died, which were the planets that were banished, as any trace was ran out, whilst taxes were collected, and the Roman state was pushed as far as the borders of Scotland by the soldiers of Rome. They also burned the library of Alexandria and shut down Egypt as we knew it. Yeah. Okay. So just to kind of recap again now, if you remember, what is the Milky Way? We can see it now a bit more clearer. Yeah. Got Aquarius over here doing its thing. It's one Aquarius, obviously collecting the souls, stars, Shu, Ammon, Ammonet, Nunet, Keket, Hehet. Okay. This means Tri's beautiful, Nefer. Okay, cool. Let's go. And then we got Shu, obviously I mentioned before, rolling. Now this is the image of the Pharaoh, yeah, suckling from the universe. It's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm Pharaoh. I'm son of God. You know, this is me working with the universe and the natures of the universe. Yeah. Remember, we had bag of scrolls. Yeah, because we're studying, doing the things, trying to civilize ourselves, maintaining art, not trying to get into no beef. People came in and obviously mashed up Egypt, and then they stayed. They was like, you know, these guys are all right. We like to just run everything, but we'll try and keep everything because you guys are actually all right, you know. It's cool. Let's go. So then obviously the scrolls and scrolls and scrolls, you know, fam, from eons, you know, collected, and then twos now, and get this new city that just pops up. Yeah, suckling off wolves. You know what their nature is like. You get me? The 2 boys, their sons birthed by Mars. Yeah, and they just roll in. Obviously now they've got all of the information. And everything burns. Fires and lies. We just buried everything. Fires and lies. It's really sad, yeah? But now we're here. We've got some awareness. Archaeological people that are doing the research and they're trying to maintain the spirit of truth. You know, so that's how we're going to try and move forward as best as we can. Obviously, if we make any mistakes and whatnot, then it's a minor. We just make sure that we try and find the truth, get to the suitable conclusion, yeah? So all relative to the nature of Hermes, yeah? As we said before, as above, so below. Yeah, work that magic, you know, that juju. And we go and get it in, yeah? All right, bless. Thank you ever so much for your time. And then we're going to jump on to the next one, I believe, in a couple of days, yeah? Peace.